Daniel Hale, a former Air Force intelligence analyst, was sentenced yesterday to 45 months in prison for leaking top-secret information about a drone strike program. In the Air Force, Hale helped find targets for deadly U.S. drone strikes.
U.S. District Judge Liam O'Grady, who sentenced Hale, stated, quote, "You are not being prosecuted for speaking out about the drone program killing innocent people. You could have been a whistleblower without taking any of these documents." Hale's attorneys argued that the documents provided a public service. As the Washington Post reports, quote, "The documents included a report finding that reliance on deadly attacks was undermining intelligence gathering. During one 5-month stretch of an operation in Afghanistan, the documents revealed nearly 90% of the people killed were not the intended targets."
Hale's sentence was not the maximum, but advocates argue it's still too harsh. Friend of the show, Glenn Greenwald, tweeted, "His crime was leaking documents that proved Barack Obama and John Brennan were lying about the number of innocent people whose lives they were ending with their drones." Hale's statement was also shared on Twitter, and it reads, "I am here because I stole something that was never mine to take, precious human life. For that, I was compensated and given a medal. I couldn't keep living in a world in which people pretended that things weren't happening that were. Please, Your Honor, forgive me for taking papers instead of human lives." Very powerful statement. This is a terrible miscarriage of justice. People who tell citizens about the appalling moral crimes our government is perpetrating should not be put in prison. The people who commit those crimes should be put in prison.
Yeah, and when you really, I know a lot of people aren't really paying too much attention to Daniel Hale, and they really should be. When you really listen to his testimony and what he saw, and children being struck by these drones, and just the descriptions, it is absolutely horrifying. And the bottom line that people need to remember is that the military is our military. Our tax dollars pay for this military. They work for us. We, as the citizens of the United States, have a right to know what this military is doing in our name. They are doing these things in our name. These things that they do all around the world come back to us as American citizens, or even to our future generations who may have to pay for the crimes of our current military. And, look, the winners get to write the history books. And right now, people are not questioning the U.S. military and all of these things that they're doing. But if there were a time when the U.S. were to, let's say, something were to happen and we were having to be put on trial for the crimes that have been committed in the Middle East, it wouldn't be good. And these types of documents that Daniel Hale put out there for all of us to see, he gave the documents to an Intercept reporter, and that he says, and he pled guilty to all of this. But at the end of the day, the Espionage Act is not meant to go after whistleblowers. It's meant to go after spies and traitors. Look, he was just trying to expose exactly what our military was doing under our name. And it was disgusting.
Maybe the traitors are the people who are getting innocent foreign citizens killed, and then we wonder why they hate us. We wonder why there's terrorism against the United States. We're killing innocent people, and our government doesn't want us to know about it, which is just, it's doubly unconscionable. On Tuesday, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange was stripped of his Ecuadorian citizenship, citing various inconsistencies. Assange, who is currently in a British prison, had been granted citizenship in the country in 2018. The Biden administration is currently pursuing efforts to have Assange extradited to the U.S., where he has been indicted on charges connected to allegations that he intentionally leaked sensitive national defense information. We have new exclusive Hill-HarrisX data on the matter. Let's take a look at that.
Well, while voters are largely unsure of what to think about Assange, Democrats are much more likely to say that Assange committed espionage by sharing state secrets on WikiLeaks than they are to say he has been treated unfairly. At 35%, that's compared to 24% of Republicans and 23% of independents. I'm surprised and very, very disappointed by this, Robby, because, first of all, I'm surprised that Democrats, who have historically been very, skeptical of the military and less likely to want to go to war, are the ones that are right now more likely, really because Julian Assange exposed Hillary Clinton, and they kind of look at him as like an evil, sinister person who robbed Hillary Clinton of the presidency.
Yeah.
And because of that, Julian Assange is, these Democrats are saying, no, this guy is, somehow. You can't call him a traitor because he's not an American, but somehow an enemy of the state. Very disappointing and surprising.
Yeah, the national security state's capture of the mainstream Democratic Party and mainstream liberal news media has been a really demoralizing phenomenon over the last 4 years. So I'm not surprised to see that result. Julian Assange is now too closely tied to sort of the Trumpist anti-Clinton efforts. But I mean, he, again, like other whistleblowers, like other people who have shared documents, we have a right as the citizens to see them. Doesn't matter what their motivation was. We need to know. We deserve to know. And we find out all the time that our government is lying to us about spying on us, about what it's doing in other countries. We need to know that information. And again, yes, Democrats used to be a little better on those issues. Now everything is so hopelessly confused. It's still very tribal and very politicized and very polarized. And I know this is actually another one of those cases where I think people on the very, very far left and very extreme right tend to actually be right and tend to agree on this. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that's really sort of the bizarre thing about this, is that a lot of these Democrats that are claiming that they are the left are actually moving to the right on a lot of these issues. They're not moving. And in fact, a lot of people on the far right, as you say, are more what I would say kind of on the left on this issue, what historically has been left and right. Obviously, that's really shifting. But again, I just really, really want to stress that more in these recent years, and really mostly under Obama more than anybody, the Espionage Act, and this really it even started under the Bush years and then more so under the Obama years, and it's just continued on. The Espionage Act was written historically to go after traitors and spies. And now it is being used to go after whistleblowers more often than not. People that are not looking to bring down America or wanting to sell state secrets in order to benefit themselves, or they're not selling, they're not giving state secrets to a foreign power in order to give them some sort of an advantage over us. This is just people that are saying the U.S. military has gone rogue. It is not operating in the best interest of the American people or helping people in any sort of humanitarian effort around the world. And the American people should become aware of this. Yeah. That is a very different reasons than, spies or traitors. And it's alarming, beyond alarming.
What you made me think of, I think there's no better sign of the times than the fact that Glenn Greenwald, who's someone I've admired for years, a sort of progressive, even socialist libertarian, is now and who has spent his career exposing the national security state, being for civil liberties, was involved in the Snowden leaks, is now more welcome on Fox News than he is on MSNBC.
Is that insane? Yeah. That is insane. Yeah, I watch him all the time on Tucker, and I'm like, me as somebody on the left, I never watch Tucker and actually agree with Tucker when it comes to things like war, and then to see Glenn Greenwald and others that also and that appear on Tucker, it's like, I don't know what kind of topsy-turvy world I'm living in right now, but hey, allies are allies in certain areas where you can get them.
Yeah, I don't know what it'll take to reinvigorate the kind of anti-militarism, anti-war movement in the country, but I would really like it to happen. I mean, I remember when it was there for the end of Bush. I was on college then. College campuses were awash in protests. The most exciting candidates were Barack Obama and then Ron Paul on the other side, the candidates who were the most against military intervention. And then Obama got elected, and it was gone. It was just over. demoralizing to see. Anyway, thanks for watching What America's Thinking, and we'll see you next time.